tested them enough.
I mean, I
Match
remember
चालू झाली
last
अजून.
year, right, when Mako was just very fresh into the IGL role, and we were wondering how he was going to adjust. He was very
माहिती आहे.
vocal about how hard it was as well, but you look at him now, wherein he's able to integrate two new players in Hyunmin and Freeing, and
कौन
set
है,
them
कौन है?
up to look like two of the best players here at Kickoff. I mean, that's a
Yuzu.
testament to how well he's doing, and you know how he's maturing as an IGL and as a player too. How does he match up
Stacks
against
खूप भारी आहे पण
Stacks,
Stacks
though,
मला
who's his
आवडतो.
former IGL?
That's the big question. Stacks has a huge wealth of experience.
त्यांनी नवीन player घेतलाय,
We
Carp.
can see here their placings. But I'm
ए, Red Bullची team आहे.
Mako came back.
Red
But
Bullची
I'm
team
very
आहे.
happy that Mako came back because we saw at the
भाई
start
Red
of the
Bull कडे
season we all
किती
thought
team
Freeing
आहे.
would be the IGL.
त्यांच्याकडे Dirt Viking,
We
F1,
heard, of course, that
VCT
Mako went to the
अजून
coaching
काय काय
staff
team आहे
and said,
त्यांच्याकडे.
"No, I can do this. Give me another chance. I can IGL." And we've
Red
seen
Bull
it
मला तर
implement. I
energy
like
drink
that
मध्ये
confidence. I like
वाटलं
him
फक्त.
taking that leadership
आता
position.
एवढं
This is the
समजतं किती
youngest
किती
team in the Pacific,
स्पॉन्सर
and he's
करतात
really
ते.
trying to lead from the front.
I mean, it's freed up Freeing to be an absolute animal, one of the best rated
ए
players. in the
मला
tournament
नाही
right now. He's
आहे.
really
छी
hard
छी.
abusing Teo, so the IGL matchup is very interesting to me for
हाँ,
sure. But
caffeine
you've
है
also
ना,
got a lot of
energy drink.
heavy hitters inside of the server. I think Mako has a lot more help as well from the coaching staff. It's just a stacked coaching staff on DRX. No disrespect to
ते
the
झाड आहे का?
coaching staff. They are
माको
very
माको
solid
ना.
as well, but also Carpe's been a lot more involved, and now he has to step into the team. So that dynamic has been changed up. Going
त्यांच्यात
into
सगळे
this,
झाडेच आहे.
someone also
माको,
be sitting next to
फ्रींग,
Autumn.
झाड आहे
That's
तो
gonna be
पण आहे.
another thing that gets
Humin
thrown
पण
off a
झाड
little
आहे.
bit. This duelist
फक्त
matchup is absolutely mouthwatering as well. I mean,
फक्त
Buzz is
बेन
kind of
आणि
a known
फ्लॅशबॅक
prospect,
एकदम
a
जॉलेन वाले.
consistent Korean duelist in Pacific, even in international tournaments delivering, and Hyunmin is brand new.
पण यांचं
Relatively precious
हेल्थ
rookie
कसं
into
छपरी आहे
Pacific,
DRX चा.
and he has been delivering
फक्त
absolute
फ्लॅशबॅकचा
perfection
छान
so
आहे.
far.
He's been playing so good. He doesn't look like a rookie at all, to be honest. He looks like he's
बेनचा
he
बघ,
was
बेनचा.
born to do this. I feel like his raise is so smooth. We see these stats, and he's going head to head with Buzz in almost
Ben.
every single category. And you know, Buzz has been doing this for a very long time, so it's a great start to kick off for Human. And it's all about if he can carry that through today, and if he wins this head to head today, then you know I think it boosts DRX's chances quite a lot.
And
अभी
I just have to
Tuesday
say
से.
too, Hyunmin looks very comfortable on that stage.
Yeah.
How many new players, brand new players, you know, he has, of course, yes, had experience. But how many players have we seen enter that stage and feel right at home from, you know, the first second?
The thing is, that impressed me the most is that he's had a couple of games where he's started like 0-7. Like that Abyss, he was like 0-7, hard entering, running into the site and getting dominated and not really, he's just creating space essentially. And then Marco Freeing and the rest of the pack flashback are following him up and winning the round. But from there, he was able to turn it around. That's the most promising thing to me. If you start a map extremely poorly as a rookie and you don't just end up, you know, especially moving over to the defensive side with a poor start on Duelist, being not impactful enough on the defense, for example. He was able to pick himself back up and still have impact, still deliver a lot of important multi-frags, and that is a very promising sign for me.
Yeah, the mental to be able to come back from those rough starts is what will really set him apart as a player and allow him to have that long career, because if you bury your head in the sand when things don't go great for you, then it's hard. It's hard to have that longevity because it's a really important skill, and it's so hard to develop that. You have to know yourself very well. So for someone so young to already have that, it's amazing.
That rebound is so powerful. Looking at our map veto right now, we're seeing that we are not seeing Pearl, neither are we seeing Abyss, but we are heading to Lotus first.
Yeah, Lotus has been, you know, we've seen Lotus from, I think we've seen it from T1, unless I'm mistaken.
T1, yeah, in the
Goal,
off-season,
goal.
I don't think we've seen it in this
Yes.
tournament. They did lose against Zeta in the off-season.
अरे एक चीज करतो
Yeah.
थांब.
But
that's
that's
it.
a little
Headphones
bit
घातले तू,
of a
बोल.
question mark. I think DRX are trying to, you know, pull the card, so to
cheese
speak, and
करतो
say,
है.
like, you have to show us a good Lotus here. Then you're going to get Haven out of T1.
It's the
They
reverse.
just
नको.
flipped their comp and started
नको
playing the
बाबा.
Fnatic comp with the Yoru and the ISO. So I'm interested
I
to see
don't do
what comp
face
they're actually gonna
reveals.
bring into
तू
this.
कुठे
We've
गेलाय?
not seen DRX on Haven. So will they use the Teo there like
That's
they have
true.
on all their other maps? Because I think Teo can work on that map, but it's not quite as smooth as on some of the others. So I'm curious if they're going to go in that direction.
Yeah, I mean, freeing insta-locking Teo, right? You
Yeah.
gotta wonder what else Termi has planned for this guy, especially with his performance.
I hope he sticks with it, man. He's so good on
Why
Teo.
not? Let's insta-lock
I
Teo. Why not? It's been
don't
working so
think
far.
so on Haven. I don't think. If I see a Teo on Haven, that's going to be a very weird one for me. Fracture is definitely a possibility, though.
Oh,
Karambit
and
सुंदर.
Fracture's a big
काय
question
पण
mark
हो.
as well. Before we just touch on Lotus here for a second, because T1 did not.
Karambit हे watch partyचे लोक म्हणतात सुंदर आहे. हट.
So that's a big
एवढा
question
गांधी.
mark. They did comp swap and bring in the Cypher, though.
तुझे
that means that
पाठवली.
looked a lot better. So they've had to show a little bit of diversity there. here for Lotus though, this is a bit of an
मला
unknown
English
question
पाहिजे
mark,
रे.
particularly for T1.
हिंदी
On
नाही
the side
आवडत
of
मला.
DRX though, they're flexing into that double in net, whereas a lot of teams are running the Vice at the
नाही,
moment,
मी
right?
हिंदी
You'll see
पण
this
बघते.
same agent
तू
clock,
हिंदी
same 4
पाठवलं.
agents with the Vice in. At the moment though, they've
बघतो.
opted for the Teo mixed in.
Yeah, it's just a different change stylistically. The Vice gives you a lot of control on your defense. We see that wall across C a lot of times to help you hold, where the Viper doesn't have that as great kind of stall in that same way.
Yeah.
But it's all about the A fight when you're playing that Teo. That's definitely DRX's style.
English.
I wouldn't expect comp changes from them. I think they've shown that they're so comfortable with this
Nah,
Teo
English.
style. So for me, I'm expecting big things from them. As you can see, I've
We're
predicted
split.
DRX.
We are split here.
VCT
and
Pacific
it just goes
T1.
to show it could be anybody's game. I mean, it's T1
Sliggyचा
and
का?
DRX.
Sliggy?
Yeah.
How
Sliggyचा?
hype is this matchup? I mean, the Korean broadcast, I think, only one
YouTuber.
predicted T1. They're very, very
Wow.
confident in
Viewer
DRX.
predictions, very interesting.
हा ते.
Well,
Okay.
you know what? Let's not wait
Oh,
any
भेटलं,
longer.
भेटलं.
Let's find out who
ते
is heading
पोरी
to
बोलते ना
Masters
आता.
Bangkok. We'll send it to the stage for T1 and DRX.
हो. चला चालू झाली मॅच. नाही मी DRX चल बघूया. पण चालू करा ना भाऊ, एवढा टाइम घेते. तू पण घे ना तसं, तू कर ना मग. आपण खेळूया, एक बघतो, दोन्ही बघतो आणि त्याच्यानंतर खेळतो. म्हणजे ब्रेक असतं ना मध्ये अर्ध्या तासाचं. काय चालू पण झालं? अरे काय मी कुठे चालू झालं? काय पण काय सांगतोय? अड आता तर हे करताय. हो
Welcome to VCT Pacific 2025.
ओ ते एंट्री, मला वाटलं तू गेम मध्ये एंट्री सांगतोय.
T1.
The battle for the first slot to Masters Bangkok is about to begin. T1 versus
Oh,
DRX.
आले.
It's time for the all-stars of Korean Valorant T1 to show us that they assembled for the international stage. But if there's any team that's likely to steal that spot away from them, it's DRX. A team that has looked immaculate this kickoff with Mako at the helm. Can this new era of
मला काय
DRX take down
माहिती?
the super
मी
team
नाही
that
बघतो.
everyone declared as the team to beat?
I mean, this is a huge upper bracket matchup for both these teams. Both teams have kind of had their up and downs.
थांब ना,
we
मी
spoke
चीज
about
करतोय
T1. Are they this
अजून पण.
super team? Getting to Bangkok is a certain way there to prove it.
Yeah, DRX though, they're on the cutting edge of the meta.
Eh,
One game away
eh.
from Bangkok. They have been
ते-
the more convincing team. T1
तेच
has
सांगतो ना
almost
तुला,
been knocked
काय
into
पण
the lower
फालतूगिरी आहे.
bracket more times than I can count in this tournament, scraping their way across the line in multiple series. But DRX has shown some very convincing series wins themselves, so you're feeling a lot of confidence for this team going into this matchup.
It's also funny to note that DRX have only played Korean teams this whole kickoff, and
Yeah.
T1 has only played Southeast
अरे
Asian
माहिती आहे.
teams. So they finally get to face off
थांब तुझं
against
तोंड
the
बघतोय.
Korean
थांब
team. They'll
थांब
probably
बघतो,
feel
थांब
right at
बोलतोय.
home, right?
Yeah, I think the Korean teams like playing against each other.
ए कदा
they all
छपरी
have a
दिसतो.
kind of similar flair, a similar style, because all the coaching staff seems to like, they all know each
Yeah,
other.
they have history.
Everybody goes so deep back in
फोटो
Korean
छान नाही
Valorant,
घेतला.
so
तू
both
चांगलं
teams
दिसतोय
will
पण तू फोटो छान
understand
नाही
what their
घेतले.
opponents will want to bring to this game quite well, so I think both will be quite happy heading into this matchup.
Yeah, for sure, but I think T1, I mean, they're glaring
तू
things,
ना
obviously.
तू ना ते
roster
एक
change
मला
for
आठवण
this
येते
matchup.
इंडियाचा एक स्पोर्ट्स
That
प्लेअर तू
change
तुझ्यासारखंच
things up,
दिसतं
in
दिसतो.
terms of roles, you look
अरे
at someone like
सांगतो
Kari,
तुला
he's
मी,
mostly in it,
तू
sort
तसाच
of
दिसतो
was on the controller, so I
अरे
think
इंडियामध्ये
where
खूप
they
आहे
can
स्पोर्ट्स
slot him
टीम,
in exactly
पण अर्धे
has
नुबडे
made
सगळे
a little bit
व्हॅलो
of grim
मध्ये.
in the past, but especially looking at this map pool, guys, like Lotus Haven, these are not brim maps.
आपल्या
Raptor could be
स्पोर्ट्स
a
मध्ये
grim map, but he's
कोणत्याही
gonna
मध्ये
have to
नाही,
show a bit of
बीजीएमआय मध्ये पण नाही.
diversity in his agent pool on agents that he hasn't played very many officials on, guys.
He has to be able to get to Fracture to
अरे
follow the
पण
Brimstone, which is the only smoke
PUBG मध्ये सगळे चायनीज प्लेयर छान खेळतात सगळ्यामध्ये चायनीज प्लेयर छान खेळतात अजून कोण
I
नाही
like to think that this T1 roster is flexible enough where they can fit Carpe in and make it work. But
कोरियन आणि
I really
चायनीज
hope there's an extra wrinkle to this, to Carpe being brought in. I want to see something different coming out from T1 today.
Let's also note that Carpe was
पण
very,
लावड आहे ना
very
ब्राझीलची
active,
लावड
even
पण आहे
as,
ब्राझीलची
you know, say the sixth man. He was right beside Autumn in all of those timeouts. He was very, very vocal. He is very much an active part of the roster. Perhaps it's not that big of a change as we're seeing the agent comp come out, though. We're seeing that insta-lock Teho coming out for free.
But what is that from T1? I mean, I'll break the DRX comp down. The big change being flashback off the
Teho
bumper
घेतला
onto
Teho
that Vice, and he was having a tough time holding down the seaside on defense, so that's going to help him out a lot.
I mean, this T1 comp though, we don't see ISO on this
होते
map a lot.
sometimes Vice
What does ISO bring? So his shield should, in theory, let him fight around A a little bit more freely. In the
पण
same way
आपल्या
you
टीम मध्ये
can
जे
with
पण वाईस
vulnerable
येतो ना ते
with
सगळे
the
नुबडे
A.
असतात
So I'm looking at an A control angle here. I also think it's nice when you're retaking, you use the paranoia to cover one lane, the vulnerable from the ISO to cover another lane. So there should be strong
चल
retakes.
झाला
But
काम
this is very interesting. We're seeing solo initiator Sova, so
Yeah.
the actual, you have a lot of information, but not a lot of power to kind of burst into these places. So I think
चालू
Meteor
नाही झाली
has to
अजून
do big
मॅच
things.
I think it's going to be hard for them to take lanes at the end of the day. It's going to be a lot of dry dueling with the double
मी
duelists.
कुठे काय
Well, that
सांगतो तू
nervous
करणार
smile
आहे
from Buzz,
मला नाही
and the
पाठवायचं
stacks looking just a tad bit nervous. Is that what I see? Well, we're going to toss it to our casters to find out. We'll go into Lotus with Paperthin and Achilles.
Thank you very much. Here we are once again. One of these two teams, these two Korean squads, are going to be punching their ticket over to Masters Bangkok as well as into the grand finals here at Kickoff. The other will have to go down to the lowers, but big changes abound. T1 pulling out something a little bit unanticipated, to say the least.
This is very unorthodox just in a lot of different ways, right? Like changing to Carpe here last minute during a match that could potentially qualify you for a Masters. First of all, pretty crazy. And then you bring in the ISO here on Lotus as well. Now we have seen it, of course, from Meteor on Haven as well. But this is still not a map that typically you're going to see a lot of ISO on. So this is going to be very curious. And I thought the ISO was okay for T1 for Meteor. Obviously, he was winning a lot of those, ultimates and things like that. But besides that, I didn't see a tremendous amount of impact with that. So I'm pretty curious to see what this is gonna look like, what T1 has cooked up here. I like what Big Time was talking about with some of their ability to use the ISO utility to gain some space onto A, but in the same kind of respect, because DRX has Teho, they also have a ton of ability to clear this A space with those salvos and other things. So I think this should be a pretty fair battle for this A main control.
Cage out, Cam gonna be cleared on the corner.
Oh,
Swing out back rubble. Gunman able to find one. Buzz gonna be taken down. Paint shells flying. Izu up on top of the rock, however, is able to find two, but then does get killed from beyond the grave. Headshot out from Meteor, however. We'll go ahead, double up that double tap. Gets T1 into the site with a man advantage. Mako flashback classics in hand. Last two stand to turn the tides of this pistol. Swing into the back, and flashback will be able to shut one down. Swings out a little bit wide, knows that the player's up close, and somehow that last bullet manages to take down Stacks. Now it is all on Carpe. Hold up onto the stage for the first time in a long time. Can he manage to clutch this out? Rides a rope up the top. Spike still here at drop. Smoke's coming through, just trying to not give flashback any inkling, any idea, and so far it is a success.
This is a tough battle now.
Mako बघ ना कसं chill खेळतो Mako.
Swing onto the corner, and Mako will continue.
तो खूप chill
Go
करतो
ahead and
Mako.
keep them in this one. Pistol round goes the way of DRX.
हो ना.
This looks like it could be a pretty good start for Izu, getting up on top of the rocks, doing some damage, and then he gets taken down by the nades. Hyunmin here just completely catches Buzz off guard. They're so tunneled in.
इजूचा aim बघ भाई.
On around that orb. They're just not ready for that player there. And even with the shield up for Meteor, he still loses that battle to Flashback, who has really started to pick things up as well for DRX. A little bit of a slow start to the season, but he is right back into that groove we saw last year, where he was such a dynamic player for them, such an integral part of DRX's success in 2024. A little bit of attempt to clear the dart, but can't quite get it through the wall. Not that it matters too much there.
Until they wanted the double face back out here, peek on a mount, but so they have to just go ahead and concede this space. Does allow T1 to scale up close to the site. Smoke just going to be cycled out as some
Rotate करना.
through. Meteor will go ahead and get taken down a little bit to 61.
Yeah, they're just trying to figure out what the defenses of DRX will look like as best as they can. The Vice utility going to be a big question mark, of course. You know, with a change up from DRX coming in their squad as well, with their agent composition. A little bit of info here for freeing.
Decides not to go for the peak, has the salvos at the ready. Stax just continuing to poke and prod over at C here. And rejoin with the rest of the squad. A salvo's going to be sent through. Looking for the stun, freeing, eating a, I was going to say eating a bit of damage. Does fall down to 16, but finds a headshot as Meteor will fall on the side. Now the pivot call is made. They try to shift themselves over here towards C. Guardian, however, flashback.
Flashing कसला हगला.
Those shots. Does get taken down. Mako with a peek up over the top, but it's not ready for Buzz to swing around the backhand side. He falls down. Buzz scoops up the Guardian. Finds himself a third in the round. Now it is all down to Hyunmin. Both players, a single shot will take them down.
Spike planted.
But can he isolate? Still has a paint shell. Going to the corner, finds the first. Paint shell clears bottom of water.
आणि bonus घेतला ना danger आहे.
And having to try to assess and just barely misses the timing there. Swing onto the corner though. He will be able to find the headshot. Stax ends up getting eliminated. DRX will move up to 0. That is a hefty amount of damage dealt by T1.
Yeah, that's a brutal round for DRX, even though they come through with the win. And they do a pretty good job of kind of sending T1 to where they want them to go. They have the wall at B. They're able to isolate Meteor's ISO using the Vice wall right here. That's a nice setup, and then you know they're going to have to, as soon as they open that door to C, they have to rotate over there, and they are, but T1's just so ready for it. Buzz in particular, just kicking the door open, grabbing a gun, and making the best of it. And still, yes, they get the win, but they're fired up. I mean, Bane is going to be there hyping them up for sure, but
त्यांची मर्जी
didn't want to
actually.
drop that many guns, so a couple sheriffs, a couple ghosts, going to back up that lone Guardian that got carried over. He's still getting value.
What is that? Okay. Yeah, just take a straight shot through the cyber cage. See what happens. Oh, Buzz is dead. Okay, cool. What a great start.
That's brutal. It's absolutely brutal. What a tap.
Still 4 to contend with, and obviously weapon is not going to be recoverable here. The drone try to lead their way through tree. Gets a tag onto Bane. Izu ending up getting locked in. Looks like he did want to maybe tuck back through the doorway, so they have to go ahead and re-trigger it.
See, they're suspicious that somebody's hiding around the corner on stairs. Ping comes down. They're gonna sneak all of their players into tree, try to make a 4-man stack.
On destroyed, paranoia, dodged. Swing coming through. Oh my God, Hyunmin is so instantaneous with it. Meteor, no chance in hell. Hyunmin with swaps over to the Vandal, goes to the push forward. Stax has managed to shut him down, but now finds himself in a 1v3. Spammed out the pistols, whittling away at him as he falls down the 5, and Mako will be the one to put down his previous IGL. A thrifty for DRX to move up 3-0.
I guess the Guardian's all you need. When Hyunmin's just tapping people with it, just forget it. I mean, you can see some of that combo here by T1 to clear some space, but then they're all just corralled in the tree. And that's just a great opportunity there to throw out the salvos, to make them have a difficult time kind of considering how they're going to break out of that space, to try to clear and scale into the A site. And Hyunmin is just ready and waiting with open arms with that Guardian. Now it's going to be back down to a weaker buy for T1. Same kind of execute there.
The wall sent out this time, just keep them further protected as they go on the cross towards Rebel.
Yeah, that's going to be the name of the game here.
Can
maybe dial up some different ways to get around that wall potentially. Right now, they're just kind of being forced to play back.
Made at the ready, swing onto the corner, Meteor able to find one. Bane going to be taken down, Showstopper, sent Buzz, dead in transit as he tries to go on the entry here to the site. Meteor still pushing forward, poking and prodding over towards stairs, but he's not going to be greeted with anything quite just yet. Gets himself in deep, the double tap shield about to expire, making contact here alongside Mako, who will be able to collect the elimination. Push down, tucks back around the corner, still somehow managing to find that to get Carpe, but the trade backs looking good. Weapons going to be scooped up, but Mako has already since arrived at drop. Strikes right before the spike can be planted. 85 needing to clutch it, and he cannot. Mako with 3 gets DRX to 4.
Yeah, just a little bit off the ball.
आसपास कोणच्या टीम मध्ये?
Meteor trying to do what he can to break open some space, and he's able to do a little bit of that. It's kind of nice, actually, that this Showstopper ends up hitting Buzz since he's got that Guardian. But then Mako, just so darn good in the back lines. Always Mr. Reliable. Continues to be so. Shutting down any hope. Nice little readjustment there on the peak, but clean stuff so far for DRX.
You have to think that after this round, should T1 not be able to find the win, Timeout is going to have to be called. 3 ultimates
Right?
already online.
Yes.
Nearly 5 there.
Hard.
As Salvo's just going to be dumped, but somehow... Okay, never mind. Carpe does end up falling. I was going to say, no one really getting tagged up too much, but then eventually he's just locked in. Meteor has not lost in these ults quite just yet. Looks like that win streak is going to continue. Finds a headshot, Bane. Eliminated. Spuzz. Across, out from tree. Vulnerability now thrown here onto Hyunmin. The push forward though to Izu. Somehow not reading this corner. They knew he was there. He managed to double up. Buzz on the floor, and suddenly it's just Meteor and Stacks versus 3. Pinged out, suppressed. Trapped in tree. Tap of the door and flashback is swung around the backhand side. And Meteor's just not ready for it. And clearly something will have to give. That timeout will have to be called because right now DRX are just so far ahead at every twist and turn.
This is just very difficult right now. It looks like the coordination isn't quite there yet for DRX. Stack's gonna get cleaned out by Hyunmin, who is just absolutely...
He's on one.
Yeah, he is absolutely on one. But first of all, the start of the round here is a great adjustment by DRX to use some of that utility a little bit deeper. We've been seeing the salvos being saved for some of the later parts of the round when DRX, or excuse me, T1 is actually trying to get into the A site proper. This time around, they send the salvos out early behind Rubble. Catches Carpe. I'm not sure if the C's caught him as well, and that might be I think so, and that's why he ends up going down. So the combos now, the deeper utility placement from DRX, a good change up, some of that early contingency abuse that T1 is showing us. This is just a really shaky start, and this in particular with the comms not coming through for Izo when he's walking around that corner is not good. Let's put it that way. That is concerning. That's something that, you know, this T1 team looks like they've struggled with this year, is some of those coordinations, some of that coming, and you can't afford it right now. Not against this DRX team.
बघ ना त्यांच्या तोंडात दिसतंय ते फ्रस्ट्रेटेड आहे पूर्ण.
Look, a lot of people, you know,
त्याचा मॉनिटर बघ किती वर आहे.
At Pacific after these opening matches that we've seen from them because they have been looking so powerful, but T1 was always kind of that question mark, like, okay, how are they going to be able to challenge them? Right now, DRX, they're looking to speedrun this map. Yeah. 5-0 start on the defending side as T1 get kicked back to another thrifty attempt.
DRX full crazy है रे. Something तो dangerous है.
Well, and I think it's, you know, again, like the desk was talking about, like a lot of people have been saying that DRX's read on the meta is just so far ahead. You know, these young players, these new players are bringing
damage.
Really
Buzz la bug.
That's painful.
Buzz is a 10.
Yeah, that's not good.
I mean, here's the change up in the calls from DRX.
And you have a showstopper, and probably not going to be able to use it now.
Gainer एकला.
Certainly not. Push up. Well, Izu. Pass on the draw.
मेला बग spam करता है.
Flash back down. Love to scale forward and recover that weapon, but instead we'll just be able to push up, get that neural theft revealed. 2 on A, 1B, 1C.
1v4 है, easy. 2v4 है, 2v4 है.
Mako on one side, freeing on the other. The other's a double stack with Hyunmin, who's been popping off. Both 3 and 1. For now, just going to be a tuck back. Vulnerability thrown around the corner, and that double tap shield not going to do too much. Buzz, however, does still manage to get value from the showstopper. Bane comes up with another Carpe dead. As Buzz at 10 HP, tucks back around the other side. The spike, however, out in the open. And they know this. He is eliminated. Just Izu now. Has since recovered position. He's read this beautifully. Knows exactly where Izu is likely to be.
दे बघ हे दोन ना मारणार आणि तिसरा त्याला मेला.
I mean, Izu barring a miracle.
अरे अँगल बघ ना कसं पकडलं त्यांनी फ्रींग ना.
This crossfire is nasty.
बघितलं त्यांनी.
Well, he's just enough time.
Back and yet, but footsteps are heard, and Mako is right there on the chase. Paranoia at the ready, just waiting. Cage thrown. This is just time delayed, time bought. It'll just be this backside plant for Izu, but there's the Paranoia. There's a swing in. They will get the plant money. Nothing further. This defuse doesn't matter.
तरी पण 6 राउंड गेले ना ऑलरेडी यांचे.
6-0 start here for DRX.
Yeah, this is
300 भेटले.
A tough situation for T1. Even with the ultimate, Izu gets all the info. They still opt to try to press in towards the 2-player site. Maybe they just feel like if they rotate, it's going to give away what they're doing anyway. But there's no real...
Bane out here looking like art.
Yeah, right? Bane really nasty with the Odin there. But
काय
You're
माहिती
just not creating a lot of confusion right now as T1. It's just this A main, A main, A main.
I disagree. I think that they're creating plenty of confusion.
Well, with maybe
आता
the
full
fans
by
that are
दोघांचं.
watching.
In metagaming.
There's that C's and A combo, but this time
नाही ऑपरेटर
T1 is going to dodge it. But in general, you know, the game plan so far has looked pretty static for T1. They're just kind of double dipping. Yeah, they played it a little bit slower this time. They're going to use some of that utility to clear the space, but Gunman's just going to press up against it.
Just here comes the timing. Nightfall sent to just go ahead and shove them back. Doesn't get any grabs, but who knows, they've zoned them, so they can just go ahead and leave Hyunmin on a little bit of an extended linger. While the rest of DRX gets ready to push into the site. Annihilation, or Armageddon, rather, at the ready. And it's going to be sent here. The red carpet. Buzz doesn't manage to get out in front of it. Just one flashback, going to be taken down, swing under the corner, freeing, just trying to duke it out with him, and now Buzz gone. Carpet TPing forward, but he's not ready for this position. Ends up getting cut down. Freeing, tucked behind the pillar, has to go for the reload, swings back out. Target-rich environment, but has to play this to absolute perfection, because now he's all on his lonesome. Meteor with 2 on the back end of the round will get T1 their first round victory.
Well, and this is a lot in part just due to the fact that T1's working the map a little bit more this time. They're flirting around with A instead of just hard committing every time. They're maneuvering around the map a little bit, re-clearing space, you know, checking things, and then kind of keeping DRX a little bit more off balance. Not allowing them to just commit to these fallback plays towards the A site itself. And that does give them a little bit of breathing room, a little bit of hope, but this is your attacker side on Lotus. And
you're running double duelist.
Yes. Concerning is mildly putting it.
ते embarrassing होणार खूप.
Good start. He manages to find Hyunmin and Bane. A site opened up, freeing. Quick to start rotating around over towards rope.
He barely took any damage. It's down to 87, 23 shields. Gonna scoop up an orb for Meteor, give him the ult as well, so you can isolate one player, make this execute.
उचल.
Almost sent over towards Tree just to go ahead for the delay. Double tap shield, however, is at the ready. Also do have that kill contract. Ultimate swing onto the corner, Meteor. Yep, shield broken.
ते हाइड का दिसतं shield वर.
Down freeing.
बघ ना ते shield hidden आहे ते दिसतं नाही किती वेळ बाकी आहे.
They look for back-to-back round wins.
Well, this has been something that we've seen a lot from T1, where sometimes they look like they're completely lost.
अरे
having a really tough time
हे बीवर का
adjusting to
थांबले.
what their opponent is doing.
ओ सेव
Against
करते हैं.
Boom even. Now against DRX, a little bit
मला
less
नाही
room
करायचं
for
सेव.
error, I'd say,
Full
right?
push.
Like, yes, you're seeing a recovery here, but and yes, it is your opponent's
ए
pick,
गप.
but there are
तुझा high strength
concerning
काय?
signs. Even though they're recovering, it helps when Buzz just gets 2 kills right off the rip.
तू कधीपासून त्याच्या स्किल्स सांगताड?
Okay, but and I've liked what I've seen in the round
माझ्याकडे
before
पण
this.
एवढं
This round was just more of this kind of push A, win the fight, win the round. But outside of that,
तू फक्त व्हायलो खेळतो.
it has been a little bit of a struggle. See if they can get it together.
एवढा छान ग्राफिक्स कार्ड घेतलाय तर दुसरा गेम खेळ ना.
Puts one down, but
काय खेळतो?
Dash plenty there in Buzz's pockets. Very well lined. Another showstopper nearly built up for him.
GTA वर किती येते FPS?
6-2, T1. You know, I
म्हणजे
basically win out the remainder of these, but you would feel like at least get to 5.
Yeah, for sure. It's
अरे वॉल्टेज कडे आहे ना.
definitely something where they're so on the back foot now. You know, they're gonna have an unbelievably good defense, good paranoia there.
Oh, the
Wait,
reveal.
get
Showstopper up over the top, just dumps it into the smoke. Comes away with 2. And now Meteor has to try to shut him down. He is still so damn snappy with it. Hasn't lost the kill contract yet, but
They dodged
there is
that.
still quite a bit to try to fight through. Bane going to be taken down. Izu opens things up, is freeing around the corner. Cannot get through Meteor's shield. Now suddenly, the round is absolutely turned on its head with Flashback being the last remaining player for DRX.
That smoke there. I think they were trying to hide
नाही.
away from the
माझी
owl.
नॉर्मल आहे फ्लॅट.
Kind of got caught
नाही.
around the corner by
खूप
Izu.
केस आहे मला पण मी
Nobody was watching
असं
that
जिप्रे
angle.
स्टाईल नाही करतो.
On to Flashback now. One away from an ult.
नाही नाही
Everybody's
तसं पण
playing
नाही.
so far back for T1. Yeah, Meteor. If you die, you die. But then everybody else.
ते कर्ली वाली नाही करता मी ते छपरी स्टाईल.
Flashback considers that
नाही
Not even worth fighting for at this point.
तुला नाही आवडतं मी काय करू मला तर माझे सगळे आवडते तुला नाही आवडते
Starting to look like a very realistic recovery here for the side of T1.
मला कुरुनामी आवडते मला चॅम्पियन्स आवडते मला सगळे आवडते माझे फॅन्डल
There's DRX.
मला फक्त
Starting to hurt a bit. Considering
Ah,
how everything has
23.
started, and yes, there were some scrappy early rounds that slowed down the bankroll, but right now it might be looking
अरे
like
मी
going into the
चालूच केलं
frenzy for the
22 ला
Kingdom.
खेळायला
500
आणि 22 मध्ये पण मी
could be
एंड
here for
मध्ये
free. So yeah, not enough.
मग मी
Really
प्रॉपर
afford
एक
firepower.
म्हणजे 23 मध्ये पण मी माझी काय म्हणतात जास्त नाही खेळायचो माझ्याकडे लॅपटॉप असायचं 24 मध्ये मी पीसी घेतलं आणि 1 वर्ष खेळलो आता
Kind of worked against him.
पण 8वी मध्ये मला
Like
जास्त
exposed
पण
to
नाही
Korean
खेळतो आता
crime, and Izu was able to go ahead and collect.
8वी मध्ये मी जास्त बाहेर नाही खेळत 8वी तुझं काय वाटतं 8वी मध्ये मी खेळतो सांग
Yeah, and this is now starting to look a little bit
थांब मी आलो एक
scary
सेकंड
for
ते
DRX.
काहीतरी
I
अटकलं
think it's just T1's just firepower is just coming online, and they're making slightly better decisions. Izu's been pretty good, pretty solid actually for T1 throughout. Buzz is still playing pretty well. Meteor is Meteor. He's always going to put up numbers. So if you can get a little bit more, it's going to be tough because if Carpe starts fragging, we know he's got some potential in there. It looks a little bit shaky to start here on the Omen. Again, an agent that he hasn't played a lot of. I think before this was like 2 maps of Omen total. Like the desk was saying, he's played a bit of Brim.
Yeah.
Actually, his best rated agent throughout his history is Brimstone, so I'm kind of curious when we get there. You can see how vocal Stax is being in the comms as usual. He's got opinions and he's going to let you know.
Yeah, I mean, that was going to be the question always. Once we had the rosters confirmed was, you know, how does Carpe look coming back in? Because I watched this guy go, you know, stone cold on the bench.
Yeah.
In Overwatch and then step in and then just absolutely clap.
Yeah.
But very different game, playing a different role. So not too surprising.
Can he just
Yeah, he was
out in the open?
TP up into Orb. Big misread here on the setup from DRX. Ends up costing him.
Thought he was just faking the TP to bait the boombot.
Do get a decent amount of damage across the Mako. As here comes the push in, but Meteor doesn't have the double tap shield available and is just not ready for that position. Stacks over. Will be able to find one as Izu.
Wow.
More of the silent carry so far in this map here. 4T1 in the round wins. Izu comes up with the goods.
Spike planted.
Spike gets planted. Flashback is here, but then Stacks able to strike. That leaves freeing now on his lonesome. Finds the first, finds the second. Now needs 4 in total to go ahead and try to close this out. The salvo sent. Stave off Izu for the moment. 60 HP remaining here on the Cypher. There's the tap. The cam gets the reveal. Removal of the dart. Does he go for the timing? The hold up to half. Does he expect the double tap? Oh my goodness! The swing in from Izu! Narrowly saves the round! The call from freeing to just go for it, and he nearly gets away with it.
But this is another devastating round for DRX. They go up, they get the first 2 kills, and they still can't convert the round. I mean, the firepower now starting to come alive for T1 and win them rounds. Freeing doing what he can. He has been so damn good this year. But oh my god, T1 is just barely getting through. Now a weaker buy for DRX. 1 hero rifle in the hands of Yunmin. Stacks already takes down Flashback.
Flashback is dead on the entry.
That's the
Showstopper's
wall
going to
gone.
be used. There's no one here to receive it.
Yep.
Everyone just going to be tucked back, hidden away. This Buzz just goes chasing forward, looking for anything. Hero theft as well. Used just for safety, not wanting to give over any opportunities for a Thrifty here for DRX. T1 know that they need these rounds, that they're squandering the beginning of this first half. They're well poised, but Gunman has other ideas. Buzz Meteor going to be taking down Carpe up on top of the box. They're able to find 3! That's Spring and Mako join him in the grave. Swing out from Bane, can't get it done. And T1 are now 1 round away from tying us up at the half. Streak matched.
Yeah, just great call here from T1. Find that opening pick onto the Vice. You know that's going to be C-Site. Very weakly defended. At worst, there's 1 more player waiting around there, so you're able to get that quick plant down, use the showstopper to gain space, cause that crossfire outside of Waterfall, start knocking players down. I was a little bit worried there for a moment when T1 lost a couple players to DRX's push. Carpe up on top of the box, able to find some tremendous value from that position. Trying to get Buzz way ahead.
Okay, well, Chaos in the smokes. Buzz able to find one. Looks to try to get the spam out, but counter spam from Free.
Hello.
Buzz immediately is going to be taken down with the salvo at the same time. Or no, rather the Armageddon.
Armageddon.
Yeah.
Comeback होता है इनसा.
Stacks jiggling around the corners here. Seal Garden going to be used. Flashback trying to tuck away, but it's going to be a shorty. And Stacks is able to utilize it. It's a strong effect. Drone to lead. Probably caught a glimpse. Now certainly has a full glance. As Bane gets noted, but Carpe gets in front of this wall, TPing up into the side. Paranoia now going to be sent. Rushes forward, spots out Mako over at Waterfall, but cannot win the fight. Leaves Stacks now on his lonesome to try to tie things up at 6-6.
होणार क्लच होणार बघ आता. Never mind. अगला है.
Yes.
This is not what I expected.
हाँ अगला.
This is not what I expected from these two teams coming into this. I'll be completely honest. I mean, both teams have thrown away early round advantages. It's been all over the place. There's been huge streaks of rounds put together. It seems like so much of this is coming down to form. That round was just all Freeing's utility. I mean, again, I was joking around a little bit on Twitter when I said that I thought he was the best Taeho in the world. I'm beginning to believe he may actually be.
What do you mean joking around? I think it's been pretty clear cut.
You think so?
Yeah.
Okay. No, you're not a John enjoyer?
Who?
Sen City's coming after you. John
Oh,
KT.
well, they're in the lower bracket.
That's true. DRX might be.
I do like John.
I know, I do too.
He's a great guy.
But that was like one of the first players, like a good Taeho out there who might compete for it. But I think Freeing absolutely is the best Taeho in the world. But yeah, this is concerning in a lot of ways for both teams. I haven't been like really thorough. I thought maybe DRX was just going to run away with this map, and I was be like, yep, they're the best team in Pacific, no doubt about it. But then they start throwing away these huge round leads where they've got 2 kills to 3v5 and they're dropping rounds. Obviously, that's going to tilt your coaching staff. But this is what this T1 team in part was built to do. They're frag heavy. They've got firepower. There's no doubt about that. It's just as we saw in the beginning of this and some of the other maps we've seen throughout the year that their coordination isn't always on point. I'd like to see a little bit of a deeper game plan from T1 on this map.
चल चालू.
They're going to get pinged out. It's a good paranoia.
Yes, it is. Saves them off. Salvos. Decent chunk of damage there on the Buzz, down to 45. Pressure very much noted and dealt with on the backside here as Izu cannot escape, cannot retreat back in to that B site to safety.
But that's just how good Taeho is. He can buy you that time to check your flanks and cover that kind of crunch attempt that T1 was setting up. Just great response from Freeing, great response from DRX. And now you've got a little bit of room to maneuver, especially with Flashback pushed so far forward.
Seems like they are very cognizant of this.
ए बोर होता है ना बैलो खेळायचं का?
Flashback just tucking back. That Prowler does not spot out Meteor.
मला तर बोर होईल.
Swoop out and collect a kill.
खेळायला मजा येते. दुसऱ्यांना खेळायला नाही देखत.
4 Stacks alone here on the C site, Sheriff in hand.
तू काय शिकणार तू एवढं बघतो तू मॅचेस तरी पण तू काय शिकलं त्याच्याने?
Through the first shots, missing 3 bullets remaining here. Does get taken down. Smatter damage found, but
आता सांगतो ना खेळायला ना बोर होतं मला.
DRX's spike gets planted.
काय?
That's got to be frustrating, but not much util left in the bag for T1. Carpe.
Oh, look at Bane. Yep. Striking, finding him. This is now all down to Meteor. We know his position. The swoop forward, Hyunmin. Aggressive with it, confident with it. Gets DRX their second pistol win, and now a 3-round lead.
Yeah, again, this is just good coordination from DRX and understanding the beginning of the round so well. They get spotted out by the dart, and their response is to pause, use the Taeho utility to cut off the T1 advance, do some damage to him even. Get a kill onto a player, it's trying to set the crunch on you, work the map a little bit. You know, I think they get a little bit lucky because Stacks had some opportunities with that Sheriff and he just whiffed. Maybe if he's able to find some shots, it's a different round. Flashback going for the wall shots with the Sheriff. It's a Ghost and a Sheriff for Bane and Flashback, and then 3 Bulldogs. So a little bit of extra cash being saved up for DRX. They're gonna get the spot on the Izu.
Here, double tap. Just get popped. Swing onto the corner. Hyunmin to try to get rid of Izu here. Meteor already suffering quite a bit of damage. Has to tuck back. Hyunmin does fall low, but has the regen shield. Going ahead. Time to back up. Must will find a headshot, but cannot confirm the kill. And Carpe now making his way over from Waterfall. Looks to try to find a little bit more damage, but cannot. Teammates for DRX.
They look well drilled. Working together very nicely in that round.
9 to 5, swap sides, looking like another day in the office here for DRX.
Exactly. It really did. That's just kind of business as usual here. Just everybody covering their angles. Yeah, you lose player, but at the end of the day, not too big of a deal. So they're going to come through a lot of extra weapons. It's the fans of Busan. Some DRX fans, some T1 fans, I'm sure both sides of the aisle being represented. But I mean, you can see the kill scores. T1, Izu leading the way, but things drop off a little bit after that. Meanwhile, DRX is thriving. Use some of that util to see if they can find it. They do clear the Cypher utility. That's another big benefit you have with that Teho. A lot of ability. There's a readjustment there from Izu. Get the trip back down. Buzz and Carpe gonna have to try to hold the line.
Good clear on the Prowler, disguises Buzz as forward position. DRX drifting away from that A site. Everybody clustered up now here at Mound.
But they haven't forced any rotations out of T1. In fact, Buzz is already starting to lean towards the other side of the map. Another Prowler sent out to bring him back over.
There's the cam, there's the spot out. Recon at the ready as the cage gets popped, gets sent. Hyunmin tucks around the corner, but still gets shut down. Izu able to find one, peeks out free, down to his sliver, but flashback. Need to keep him protected. Comes up with a kill. Haunt going to be cleared out. Stacks alongside Buzz, just trying to stave off the rest of the players here. Stop Bane from getting into the site. Spike for now.
कुठे मी चाय नाही पितो.
There's a spot out and freeing, forced away once again. Just too damn low on HP. Beanie are able to collect 2. Flashback, their HP bars falling to pieces. It's freeing now. Needs to try to clutch. 8 HP. Meteor on the corner. We'll go ahead and put it down. A 4K for him to get T1 on board in the second half. 3 rounds to go to try to tie it up. But still a decent amount of damage dealt by DRX. 3 guns lost by T1.